Welcome to African American History, Lesson 43. In this video, we will learn about Black organizations and institutions. What happens when people are denied access to power, resources, and opportunity? They build their own. In the face of Jim Crow segregation, violence, and exclusion, African Americans did not simply endure. They created institutions that empowered their communities, preserved their dignity, and fueled movements for justice. Throughout the early 20th century, African Americans responded to racial discrimination by building independent organizations and institutions to meet the spiritual, economic, educational, and social needs of their communities. From mutual aid societies to churches, from fraternal orders to business leagues, Black Americans created networks of care and resistance that uplifted the race. These institutions were not just responses to segregation, they were declarations of Black autonomy, ingenuity, and hope. In the face of relentless exclusion from white-dominated institutions and economic markets, African Americans responded by building their own. During the early 20th century, Black communities across the United States developed businesses and organizations that directly served their needs. Barbershops, beauty salons, funeral homes, grocery stores, and banks, among others. These establishments were more than commercial enterprises. They were pillars of self-sufficiency and racial pride. Black business districts like Sweet Auburn in Atlanta and Black Wall Street in Tulsa became economic engines and symbols of communal resilience. By circulating wealth within their own communities, African Americans asserted control over their economic destinies and created a foundation for political and cultural empowerment. The Black press emerged as a powerful force for truth-telling and community cohesion. At a time when mainstream newspapers ignored or distorted Black life, African American publications such as the Chicago Defender, Pittsburgh Courier, and the California Eagle chronicled the realities of racial injustice while also highlighting local achievements and national movements. These papers connected African Americans across geographic boundaries. They offered editorials, coverage of lynchings, updates on civil rights activity, and information on economic opportunities, particularly during the Great Migration. The Black press did more than report news. It inspired action, challenged systemic racism, and became an indispensable tool for political and cultural advocacy. Religion remained a cornerstone of African American life, but Black worship evolved into institutions uniquely shaped by the lived experiences of formerly enslaved people and their descendants. The African Methodist Episcopal AME Church, founded in 1816, stood as the first independent Black Christian denomination in the United States. It represented not just spiritual autonomy, but political and cultural self-determination. After the fall of Reconstruction, Black churches multiplied across the country, offering worship styles rooted in African traditions and theological interpretations centered on liberation. These institutions were essential in reinforcing a collective identity rooted in faith, resistance, and hope. More than places of worship, Black churches functioned as safe havens for organizing, cultural expression, and leadership development. Within their walls, African Americans planned boycotts, voter drives, and civil rights campaigns. Churches trained generations of orators, organizers, and artists, from Sunday school teachers to choir directors, who later became influential leaders in politics, music, and grassroots activism. Leaders such as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. emerged from these sacred spaces, illustrating the church's unmatched role in developing moral authority, rhetorical skill, and communal trust. In an era of systemic oppression, Black churches were the beating heart of Black liberation and cultural creativity. African American entrepreneurs shattered ceilings and expanded what was possible for Black economic advancement. Among them was Madam C.J. Walker. She rose to prominence as the first woman in the United States, of any race, to become a self-made millionaire. She built a beauty empire tailored to Black women's needs, affirming their beauty and identity at a time when Eurocentric standards dominated the marketplace. Walker's success extended far beyond personal wealth. She employed thousands of Black women, funded scholarships, and supported civil rights organizations. Like other Black inventors and innovators of her time, Walker demonstrated how entrepreneurship could serve both as personal liberation and a means of collective uplift. She not only marketed hair care products tailored to African American women, but also promoted a message of self worth, dignity, and empowerment. In a society that devalued Black beauty, Walker's brand countered mainstream narratives and positioned Black women as deserving of both care and confidence. Her brand became a platform for racial uplift, gendered empowerment, and the growth of Black consumer culture. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, please follow us on the social media platforms listed on the screen.